Welcome to Self-Employed with Piper Phillips, a show about working for yourself. I have two really amazing guests today. You guys are my first guests that are dancers.
Yay.
So Caitlin and Courtney are successful professional dancers in New York City. They've been Radio City Rockettes. They're popular on Instagram and TikTok, and they're twins, if you haven't noticed. So I'm really excited to chat with you guys. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So excited.
Okay, so tell the people, I know I just gave a little intro, but in your own words, what do you guys do to make a living in New York City?
So we are dancers first. Everything else came secondary to what has come about since we started posting on social media. But we are dancers and content creators, really. So how we make our money is posting on social media and any sponsorship or brand deal that comes about from that. And then any dance job we do in the city, really, like, you put yourself out there. It's a hustle to be a dancer in New York City. So we are dancing, we're teaching, we're giving private lessons, but then all while still filming everything we do so that we can keep our online presence alive at all times too.
I love that. And I think people are really interested in that, especially being able to make a career being self-employed in the arts. Just to be helpful for someone watching this that wants to do that. So how many income streams would you guys say you have? Because it's different. When you're in a 9 to 5, you have a job that pays you, and it's your main thing, but you guys do a lot. So what would you say make up your main income streams?
Ooh, okay. So there's definitely a lot of different streams of income for us. Also just because like dance itself, like Caitlin said, we do a lot of teaching. So like every single dance studio we go to, it's different every single time, and then different brand deals as well. I would say it really depends on like what's coming our way in a year. But like, for example, we just taught at a convention last week, and we taught like multiple dance classes to kids in New Jersey, and then next week we're performing at a New York Fashion Week event, so that's like involving rehearsals and fittings and then going and doing a live performance. As you said, we finished our second season with the Rockettes, so that was a 3-month thing where we were performing every single night, and then along with that, like Caitlin said, we're keeping up with our brand deals and our content, so that's another stream as well. So it all comes in waves, and I think anyone in the arts can agree with, like, there's no set formula. Like, we don't work a 9 to 5, so you can't depend on a steady income per like week, per month. Like, it really just fluctuates. And same thing with content creators. So it goes hand in hand in that aspect. And either way, it's a hustle, but we know how to like continue to fill our plate as we go out throughout the year.
And I think it's really cool that you guys have dancing and content creation to supplement each other. I think that's really smart. How do you see those two things interact with one another?
Ooh, okay, so I actually am happy you said this, because as we were talking about how we still audition in the city and we're looking for different jobs, but there have been quite a few dance jobs that have actually landed in our laps because of our social media, which is like really exciting to see, like, wow, all those hours we put in. And for context, we started our page during COVID, so not a lot was happening. So we would just go into the studio and push ourselves so hard and just create dance videos. And that was where it all started. So I feel like months of doing that actually has paid off in the long run, because our name has gotten out there. And like, for example, like last year we were able to do, I think it was like LA Fashion Week, but really it was in Hermes exhibition for their furniture and kitchenware, houseware line.
You guys danced for Hermes?
Yes, it was the most unique job we've ever
sick.
done, if you want to talk about it. But I
Yeah.
think,
Well, they were looking specifically for twins, and they auditioned a bunch of twins in LA, I guess, because it was an LA local job, and I guess they just hadn't found the right people. And then our agent called us about the job, and we were found because of our social media. And we've never been so thankful. So our agent called us, and they found us through our social media. Hermes called up our agent and booked us the job, and we got to work in LA for a couple weeks. But it was literally just a dream job, and it was so validating that sometimes we're just posting to post and just to keep our presence alive, and it actually has rewarded us in so many cool ways that we literally never would have dreamed about it. And like, it's just been really cool to see what comes.
That is so cool. Okay, so I'm like trying to understand this because I don't really know anything about the business side of the dance world. Like, I've interviewed PR people, content creators, business owners, and I'm like, I kind of know what their day-to-day looks like. I have no idea what the day-to-day or week-to-week looks like for a professional dancer. So this is so cool. When you did the Hermes thing, you said they flew you out. So how does that work? Do they like put you up in a hotel or were you staying with other dancers? What was that experience like?
So that was a unique job because it was LA Fashion Week and you could only be hired as LA locals. And so we actually had to stay with our best friend's sister. And like it was a dream job, but it's still like at the end of the day, still a hustle because
Totally.
we said we're LA locals, which sometimes your agent calls you and is just like, do you have someone to stay with? Like you need to say you're local. And we're like, yeah, we'll figure it out. And that's just the story of a dancer. People are always sleeping on each other's couches.
Not as
And we're like,
glamorous as we would like to admit.
No.
It's not
No.
that glamorous, but you do what you got to do to make these kinds of experiences happen.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, and we've had the cool ones where we do get flown out and we get put up in a nice hotel, but then sometimes you got to say yes to anything that comes your way. So we were like, done, we'll be there. Yeah, we're locals, and we're like, okay, we'll find somewhere to stay.
When you have the opportunity, you're like, you make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
The details will
That
work
was one
out.
of those experiences where we were like, we will be there. Yeah. Okay. We'll find our way. It's just something, but that kind of experience too was so huge to us that we were like, okay, we got to make it happen. And then who knows what will come from that. And it really was a prime example of like what our social media has led us to. So we were like continuing to like push that narrative of like, you need twins, we're there. You need dancers, great, there's two of us. Like
Yeah.
if you can market yourself in a way that people are like, actually, we could use twins for this, then like you show up and you make it happen.
I love that. Do you guys, okay, this is a little spicy, but do you guys ever get tired of the twins thing or do you like it as a marketing play?
I think because we started this, like we said, in COVID, we had just graduated from college in 2020. So it was like a really crazy time. But because we were already 22 and now we're 26, I feel like I'm fully aware of like who I am and who I want to be. And I think when we were maybe in high school and we are figuring it out, like, do we even want to go to college together? Do we want to like fully pursue like the twin narrative and continue to push it? Maybe that was unclear at that time, and we ended up going to college together, and yes, like we've been like inseparable, so I think people just already know that about us. But now the beautiful thing about doing this and being fully an adult living in their 20s in the city is that we know exactly who we are, and when we do all the twin things together, it is really intentional because it is like, at the end of the day, where we started from was we love to dance and we love being sisters and twins, and that's why we started the page. So it would honestly be like inauthentic of us if we suddenly started pushing like individual content and not as much together, because we started this together for a reason, and there's like no mistake about that. I think it's actually just like what we want to put out there because we enjoy it, and it's so much of who we are that if we did go separate ways, I'd honestly have more of an existential crisis than if I did start posting like just about me because I wanted it to be about me. You know?
I think you also just realize if you have something that sets you apart or makes you different, run with that. And I don't know how many identical twin dancers there are that are as close as we are.
I don't know any others.
And so we definitely will always push that because I feel like it makes us special and we love that about us. And if you guys like the same things too, like pursue it together.
That's so beautiful. I love that. That's always what I say when people ask about personal branding advice too, is it's like find the thing that you're good at, that you love,
Yes. Right.
and run with that and make that your
Yeah.
thing. And you guys have
Why
done
we're
that
all
so well.
self-employed.
Thank you. That was a seamless integration. I want both of you guys to answer this, but and this is a challenge, it's difficult. If I would ask you to describe your career trajectory in under 20 seconds, like a summary of your guys' career, what would you say?
I went to college, went to Rutgers University. I studied psych and business. I did not study dance. I still danced, but I was studying other things. I had a corporate internship going into my senior year. I was working for Amazon. And I got that job offer at the end of the summer, and I turned it down, and I was like,
Wait, I'm sorry. You turned down a job offer from Amazon.
Yep. And I talked to my parents, and I told my dad, and our dad is a lawyer in New York. Like, we had to have that whole conversation where I was saying, like, I need a year to dance. Yeah. Like, let me just try it out. And I wanted to try out for the Rockettes, and I was like, I need a year. I'm not ready to sit behind a desk yet. So turned down that job offer, went and did my senior year. I graduated in 2020, and the world shut down. There was no Rockettes audition. I went and moved home. We have very similar storylines, and there was no Rockettes audition. I turned down that job offer. nothing was happening, and we had to reset and figure something else out. And it was such a crazy time. And then from there, fell into social media, started posting, and then opportunities just started to fall in our lap. And then we eventually, the world did open up and we did get to go audition and we did get our dream job. We did get to dance for the Rockettes. But all the while, we found this entire new path with social media and content creating. So we get to do something so cool together, the two of us, all while still doing that dream job we always wanted. But that's only for a few months of the year, and the rest of the year is up to us to travel and teach and dance and do cool New York City lifestyle things. So from there, we're just like riding that wave and seeing where it takes us.
That's incredible. I have so much respect for you that you had this amazing job opportunity with Amazon, which people would probably kill for, but you knew it wasn't what you wanted to do in your heart.
Yeah, no, and I like
That
even,
takes guts.
and then when the world shut down, it was really scary because we
Yeah.
were like, did we make the wrong decision? Like we could be like employed from home right now or doing nothing, and we were just doing nothing for a minute.
Well, it paid off, so.
Yeah, it all works out.
I feel like my story is obviously very similar to Caitlin's. But similarly, I had a job offer from BlackRock. So I was also supposed to be in the corporate world and ended up turning down that job offer with Caitlin. We made that decision together, even though we were working in different places.
So you
And
guys both had these amazing job opportunities.
we did.
You had a conversation together and you said, we're going to not accept these so we can pursue dance.
Yes,
Is that-
exactly.
that's what happened?
It was exactly that conversation, and it was so scary, but maybe that's what helped us make the decision, was that we were doing it together, because I feel like people were like, you're crazy, especially our siblings. We're the youngest of 6 kids, so, which is already like amazing and insane because we have all these siblings to look at who have gone through college and internships and jobs in New York City. Everyone ended up locating here, and to hear that we both had such amazing opportunities that we were going to turn down was scary, but doing it together kind of made it easier. And then obviously COVID was a whole different challenge. Like Caitlin said, like turning to social media was an amazing way for us to figure out like, okay, where can we go from here? But it really just started as like a passion project. And then the only other like thing that maybe you didn't cover was the first time we tried out for the Rockettes, we did not get it. And so that was also another experience for us where we had to learn what rejection is, and that not that we hadn't seen rejection in our lives yet, but I feel like when it comes to your dream job and that door is closed, that's like a different kind of rejection I had never experienced before. But I'd also never been more motivated to get this job, and it took an entire extra year of training, figuring out where we went wrong, and you couldn't just like stop what else you were doing. So as much as I wanted to just put all my eggs in this basket and go for it, I had to continue to create content and teach and like aspire for other things, because it's never a guarantee that you're going to get that dream job. So you can't just go for one thing. You have to continue to live your life and to its fullest and see what else comes your way. So it was definitely a year of like trying different avenues, and then the door eventually opened and we did get that dream job. But I think the rejection along the journey also helped pave where we are now, and figuring out like, okay, even if it's a dream job, you need to learn how you can still live your life to its fullest and pursue the things you want to pursue. And when you do end up achieving that dream, it's just like the cherry on top, but it's not like the survival job that you thought it would be.
I have no words. I mean, this is crazy, guys. I didn't know this about you. Like, this
Thank
is so
you.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing this.
It's been like this our whole journey.
I mean, okay, so your dream job was the Rockettes. You didn't get it the first time you tried out.
No.
And spoiler alert, this was your second season in the Rockettes. So the story does have a happy ending. But what was that feeling like, getting that news of this dream job that you turned down BlackRock and Amazon jobs for in corporate, and then all of a sudden what you're working for, it didn't happen? Like, what did you do that first day?
That was a hard experience, especially for me. I feel like I show my emotions more than Caitlin sometimes does. So like I definitely was the first one to like break down. I feel like stayed strong at first, and then I was like, no, I need to like almost take a day or two, maybe
Yes.
3, to cry and let it out. And I think also like so much of like your mental health is like woven into this like industry of the arts, where it's a lot of rejections before it is a yes. And I think knowing like, okay, where am I going to reset? Where am I going to restart? And let's do this strategically. We're very like go-getter but like organized planners when it comes to like achieving something. So I feel like we had to really take a break. I think if something doesn't work out, it's good to like take a step back. And for us, it was in August, so we could like go to the beach, relax, spend time with family. I think that was like a really important thing that we needed at that time. And then come September, we were ready to get back into the studio and be like, where did we go wrong? What do we need to focus on? And how can we do this in like the smartest way possible, so it doesn't feel like we're wasting our time, but we're doing this in an efficient way and still expanding and trying other things, so that it's not all just the same thing every single day.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, even when we faced the rejection of not getting the Rockettes the first time, I never once regretted not taking that job offer. Like, I did not, like, that first day of rejection when we were like upset, crying, everything, I never was like, oh my God, I should have taken that job. Like,
Why?
what am I doing?
Why did you never regret it?
Because I just knew that we were still on the right path. Like, I did not feel, even though rejection hurts, I didn't feel defeated. I still, like, I needed that moment to be upset, but then we were very motivated. And we were like, okay, let's rethink the game plan because we're coming back stronger next year. And we did. And we were very much like positive mantra. What's the word? Or
We were very, like, we
manifested a lot that year. And when we came back for the audition the next year, I feel like we were hungry for it. And we were kind of like, everybody watch out, like, we're getting it. And we did. And we just very much were like, we spent this whole year training harder than ever and training differently. And then all the while still doing really cool opportunities and things together that you can't predict come your way. So I was always still happy and I was still driven. I feel like if you still have drive, then you're not going to regret you're not going to regret the choices you made in the past. I never once was like, I should be in the corporate world. Like, I still was like, no, we're still in the right place. We just got to train differently and we're going to get what we want. We just have to keep going after it.
I love that. I mean, that's incredible that you were able to maintain such a positive attitude.
Yeah.
Because I like what you said, where it's like, it wasn't over. It wasn't like
Right.
you were defeated. You got to do it the next year.
Right.
Yeah.
And you killed it.
And we're saying, like, you can be down for, like, however long you need to be down, but, like, you're going to get back up and you're going to train harder and go after it.
I feel like a lot of people, when they get rejected from something, whether it's like a dream job or a company, they almost have like a bitterness of like, I don't even want that anyway.
Right.
And you guys had none of that energy. Like, why do you think you saw things differently?
I think this job in particular is different because we know a lot of girls who have gone down this road and it took them many tries.
Okay.
So it's not unheard of to have to try out more than once. And I think we knew that going into it. So I don't want to say like that made it easier, but I think it is a little different from like other job opportunities in that like we were well prepared. Like, this might be a couple years until you achieve this goal. So if it's not the first time, maybe it's the second time.
Yeah.
And that kind of helped prepare us where we were like, it could happen, but it also could take a little bit of time. So I think that maybe helped us with the rejection aspect. I also think that having two of us, the accountability is insane. Like, and not everyone has a twin sister, not everyone has like a sister, but everyone can relate to the idea of like having a best friend or like someone that you train with or someone who's in the same field as you and you guys are working towards similar goals and can kind of depend on each other. And I think that accountability factor was a huge plus for us. We were positive, like you said, like, it's amazing how positive we were. We had to stay positive, but don't get me wrong. There were days where we were like, I don't know if this is going to happen. And like, are we doing all of this for no reason? Is it a waste of time? Like, should we be doing something else? And not that it would be like corporate. I think we knew where we were supposed to be. Like, we were happy dancing, but is this the right like job within this field for us? So that also, the days were hard, but having someone else there who's like, no, we're on the right path, and maybe we take turns with each other where it's like, if I'm having a bad day, Caitlin can pick me up, and like vice versa. So like, that's always really nice. And then just like, again, the manifestation, like if someone's there and is like, I can see it, like I see Radio City, I see us on the stage, and then reminding you of that dream, then you want to dream too. So I feel like for sure it was hard, but having someone else with you like definitely was a plus for us. I don't know how people do it alone because I do think it's hard no matter what kind of rejection you've gone through. But I do think if you have someone in your life that you can depend on, or just like someone there to remind you like, no, you're amazing and like you can do it. If it's not now, maybe it's tomorrow. I think that is like a huge factor for us.
That's awesome. That was so good.
Thank you.
I feel like when you guys talk about that, you're so lucky that you have each other as twins, but it's so true. I feel strongly that any type of rejection in your career, no one should go through that alone.
No.
And like you guys are lucky you both have awesome partners and each other. But I feel that way too, even with my boyfriend. Like we're both really driven in our career, and there's times where one of us is like killing it and then they're kind of dragging the other person where it's come on, you got this. And then a month or two later it switches, and that person who was feeling down is now like, wait, now I am up and I know it's possible. So like, come with me.
No, it's so true. It's like, honestly, just anything in life. You gotta confide in the people around you because they'll keep you going. Even if it's someone in a different field.
Totally.
They know in some way a parallel and they can help you through it. And it is hard to like take on everything by yourself. You gotta lean on people.
I know. Would you say most of your friends or people in your circle, in your network, are people that are self-employed creatives, or are your immediate friends and family all in corporate?
I think immediate friends and family are all in corporate.
Really?
Like,
okay.
We're definitely the ones who branched out and did something different away from the norm. And now, of course, like we've met amazing people and like have a whole community of dancers or content creators in the self-employed community. But like where we came from in our family, like we come from a family of lawyers and teachers. Like many lawyers and a lot of teachers in our family for whatever reason. Like we were the ones who really went out on our own and did something different.
So how were your parents, like, were they supportive when you were like, hey, we don't want to do this traditional path, but we actually want to do this? Like, how was that received?
Yeah, like people who know our dad, that's their first question is like, what'd your dad say? And we are like, no, he was really supportive. And maybe that's because we're the fifth and sixth kids of our family. So I feel like they literally, no, actually they were like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like just get out of the house. And we're like, okay. But it was like a combination of both where I think our parents truly believed in us and knew that we could do it. And they know us and how driven we are. And we were kind of like, we're not going to stop until we achieve the things we want to do. And then also just that like you guys do whatever. I think our dad was hoping that there's 4 girls in our family and he was hoping we were all going to be lawyers and he was going to start Sullivan and Daughter, the whole law firm, family business, and none of our sisters or siblings did that. So actually our brother's a lawyer, but none of our sisters did that. And at that point he was like, fine, law school will always be there, just go off and get it out of your system. And we're like, no, we're probably going to stick with it, but
you're like, it's working.
No, and it's working. So they love it though. They come to a million Rockettes shows every year and come to everything we do. So we're lucky.
Amazing. I always love asking people that question because a lot of entrepreneurs, creatives, freelancers, like it's really hit or miss. It's either they had their parents that were entrepreneurs or self-employed and they were like, I knew from day one I was going to do that. Or I've also heard the story of people whose parents maybe weren't self-employed, but they just love their kids so much and believe in them that it's like, I wouldn't choose this, but I love you and I want you to be happy.
Yeah.
So
our family, we're lucky. Our family and our parents and our siblings are our biggest cheerleaders, supporters ever. So I think they were excited that we were going to keep going with it so they could keep being like our hype squad.
Yeah. Did you guys always want to be dancers growing up? Like, was this what you imagined your full-time career to be? Or when you were like a junior in high school, what did you think you'd be doing at this stage in your life?
I think always we thought dancers, and then maybe while we were in college, it started to like feel like real life, and we were like, okay, what's actually going to happen here? Do we need to start looking at internships? And that's how we ended up falling into the corporate internships when things got real, and we're like, okay, we need to like go to the career fair and like figure out what opportunities are out there. But I swear before that, like Rockettes was a goal for us when we were in high school, early college, and then it felt like, is it going to happen? Like, how much work would it take? Like, we're not even training in those styles right now. But then I do feel like it took working in an office and interning to realize, like, no, dance is what we need to do. Like, I couldn't sit still at a desk. I couldn't stop talking about, one, being a twin. And, like, I would just naturally talk about Caitlin because she wasn't there. And then, two, talking about dance. And, like, the guy who, like, sat next to me who was interning as well was like, you always talk about your twin or dance. And I'm like, I mean, I guess.
Good
like,
feedback.
Yeah, I was like, I like, that's literally, like, the two most important things about me. So that's all you need to know. And inadvertently, I was like starting, I think, to realize like I need to dance. I need to pursue that while I'm still in my prime. And that then by the end of the summer was like my final decision. I was like, no, I need to do that. So I think it was in the back of my head, but it took like sitting down in an office to realize like I am not ready for this. I could sit at a desk for the rest of my life, but my legs will only kick so high for however many years. So that was where it like became real.
Wow. So you did the BlackRock internship and you got the offer.
Yes.
And did you know the second you got that offer, did you have a feeling in your stomach like, I should take this, I shouldn't take this? Like, what was your gut reaction?
Oh my God. Yeah, like a pit in my stomach. I remember like the mentor I had from the group, she was like amazing, like a big sister to me. She came to was in the area of my beach house. We went out for a drink. She tried to convince me to take the job. Like so many people were like,
and that's a
this would
great
be
company. Like those are Amazon and BlackRock, amazing companies.
And it would have been amazing. I think it was just not the right time where like we said with dance, it's time sensitive and you need to be like young and fit and in your prime. And like if you don't go for it now, like it feels like years lost. And a lot of dancers in the city too start when they're 18. So we already felt a couple years behind. Like we were like, we got to get into it. We got to get into classes and auditions. And it's never like you're too late to start. You always can. But I do feel like all the training that we had put in needed to be put out there in the professional world, and we could continue to train and learn. So definitely I had that pit in my stomach, but I knew my gut feeling was right. It was like, I shouldn't take this. And it really took like the support of our family and our friends to be like, no, don't. Like, you will be okay and you'll figure it out. It's just scary, but like if you know that you're capable of something in the dance world, like you need to try.
Caitlin, did you feel the same way when you got the Amazon offer?
Yes, like I think we were on the same page. And I feel like you got your offer first. Like, I feel like you had to figure it out first. And then once mine came in, I was already like, no, I'm not. I'm trying to remember. It was so long ago. But I do feel like talking about this is so crazy because it was so underratedly scary. It's not like we had audition for the Rockettes that August and we had the offer on the table and it was like, which one do we choose? It was literally turning down a job offer to take on nothing. Like nothing else was waiting for us. We had to make everything happen. So it's so wild. And I feel like that's probably why like our older siblings like couldn't understand it. 'Cause they're like, you have this amazing offer right there and you're going to turn it down for like a maybe, a potential.
Yeah, a dream. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And then who could have thought COVID was coming? So it really took like years before we even got to attempt to audition. Right. So it's just so wild.
So was your first like money, income, success, whatever, did that come from social media first? Like, were you getting brand deals when the pandemic okay, let me rephrase. Were you guys getting brand deals like when the pandemic was happening with dance related companies? Because there were no live shows during the pandemic, right?
Yeah. We started our social media, our like twin accounts in November of 2020. I think a month later we got our first deal was with Snapchat.
Amazing.
So like, and that was amazing and exciting. And then
a casual first deal.
that was a great deal. And then from there, I think things just came in here and there that was like really unexpected and wild. So we had all the time in the world and we were living at home. So we just like poured everything into dance.
That's so beautiful. That's awesome, guys. Did you guys know you always wanted to be your boss? Like when you envisioned your future, was it working for yourself? Was this a desire that you always had?
Yeah, that's such an interesting way of saying it. Like calling ourselves the boss is so funny. I think more so I always knew we wanted to work together, and I guess that makes us the boss of
co-bosses
each other. Co-bosses and boss of each other. I guess it's a dream to be the boss of your sister, but like I think it was more so the dream was that we were the head of whatever we do, like together, like our own company together.
Any further thoughts on that?
No,
Okay,
I feel
good.
yeah.
Because I love asking people that, because like some people, like myself, to call myself out, like I was like 10 years old and I was like, no one's gonna tell me what to do. Like I
No, those
we have so many friends like that too. That's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I had that personality where I was like, I don't want anyone to tell me what to do, but I feel like now that we're doing it, like it's the best thing ever. Like you get to decide what you do every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a dream.
takes accountability though, like you guys said.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly,
gotta-
I have much respect for everyone doing it like alone. Like
Yeah.
I need each other, not to tell each other what to do, but the accountability factor is
Yeah.
major. I think
great.
if you knew us, like if you've known us as dancers or like in college, like our coach would probably laugh at how we act and push each other, but like no one pushes us harder than each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like seeing us now, like owning our own like LLC and like being partners in that, no one will be surprised. It wasn't like we were gonna
Wow.
like be like we're our own bosses one day, but it just happened, and it's so our personality and how we've pushed ourselves within dance to then take it and be businesswomen as well, and how we would like co-run that, but also like push each other so hard.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have this amazing foundation of a business education, which is so important for people in creative industries. Like
Yeah, thank you.
I always love talking to content creators or musicians that have this business background, because I think it helps you know things about how to structure an LLC and how to negotiate contracts and things like that.
Yeah, that does make me feel better because sometimes I'm like, we're not using our degrees at all.
Yes.
But I'm like,
I mean, anyone who is self-employed or works for themselves, creative industry or otherwise, like that is a business skill that you need.
no, totally. I think when I think of like us dancing and doing our eye high kicks, I'm like, what did I go to class for years for? But then we really do have our own business, so like it does come in handy.
Do you guys, so you're both on an LLC together?
Yes.
Do you have this approach of like, when you take opportunities, is it always together, one unit, or do you guys also do separate opportunities? Like, what's your approach strategically to that?
We say we're open to anything, and if something comes our way that is just for one of us, we're not going to turn it away, but we've pretty much always done everything together. Like, and I think the better opportunities come that are made for us and looking for two people.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't see why they would only want half of you guys.
And honestly, like, yeah, I feel like there are a lot of times where they are just looking for both of us. So like even like at one point Caitlin had COVID, and so many like studios or other business opportunities that we had at that time were like, you need to reschedule because we didn't like sign up for just one of you.
Wow.
So I think it is
Yeah.
like the amazing thing about the partnership is like, no, most of the time they are looking for two of us, but I think our agent, our managers, like they know we are in this to push the duo, not individually. But obviously if an opportunity comes our way, we would always like take it at face value and be like, is this a good opportunity? Should one of us take it? Probably yes. But we're here to do it as a partnership first.
Love that. What is the biggest mistake you've made since being self-employed, since being professional dancers out on your own?
That's an amazing question. I'd say the biggest mistake I've made is comparing myself to others, because especially in this industry itself, no one is the same. No one's taking the same journey. I don't know any other identical twin dancer content creators. So why would I compare myself to someone else who is so clearly not the same as me? Besides, obviously, Caitlin and I, that makes sense. We can compare ourselves to each other. It's so easy to get caught up in like, oh my gosh, like this dancer booked this job or this creator booked this brand deal. So I think it's like really important that we remind ourselves that we are unique and every person within your field is unique. So if you get too caught up in looking at what other people are doing or what brands people are working with, it becomes honestly detrimental to your mental health as well, because I'm thinking like, am I not doing this right? I put so much on the line for this. Like, did I take the right path? I think there's so much that you could get wrapped up in, and I have before. It's honestly natural to do, and I think that is the biggest mistake, though, because you get so off your own path that you need to like find your way back again. So I think that's been my biggest mistake, and the greatest reminder, though, that if you're going to do this, it's going to be unique and it's not going to be replicated somewhere else. So that's the hard thing, too, about being self-employed. Like, if I was in a corporate job, I'm sure I could look around to other people in my department or on my team and be like, what's your trajectory? I want to be on a similar path. I want to keep moving up in the company. But there's nothing to look at for this. So I think you have to, like, not compare yourselves and not look at others, honestly.
You're so right. It's so hard when you do this non-traditional, people love to call it that, non-traditional career path.
Right.
There's no like blueprint of, well, this is the promotion and then in 2 years I'll be an associate and that just doesn't exist for us.
Right. So I think that's definitely been the hardest thing to navigate. And I think being our own bosses, like we talked about, has been amazing. But I think honestly, the first day of it, the day we started in the studio and we were like, we're going to create something, I feel like I was looking around. I'm like, where are my coaches and my dance teachers and all the people who have always told me what to do every single day? It was like that day one of like, okay, no one's here but us.
Just you.
So we got to figure this out on our own, which is scary, but then it honestly helped us even more. And again, it comes back to the accountability thing. We were able to push each other and be like, here are our goals. Here's how we want to achieve them. But in the end, it's just you. Yeah. So there's no point in comparing yourself to anyone else, because at the beginning and the end of the day, it's just you figuring it out. My only other thing I would say is knowing your worth. And we have a million stories of different jobs we've done, whether for dance, teaching, or content creation, where maybe you feel like underpaid or you took on poor conditions because you felt like you had to, and you're just trying to make it out there, and you're a self-employed, so you're like, if I don't take this job, what's the next one, or when is the next one gonna come? And it's nice that we have each other, only just to tell each other like it's okay, or like maybe we need to pass on this one because they're not treating us the right way or not valuing us or paying us what we deserve. So that's the other hard part of being self-employed, is knowing your worth. And it's nice when you have two people to like validate each other and check in and be like, no, okay, like we're gonna pass here, or like, oh, this is a great opportunity, or this is good but we need to push them and demand more or better conditions. It's just hard to navigate, and you learn a lot.
So true. It's hard because when you're on your own, it's like there's no stable income, like you said. So you play that game of like, well, how tough do I want to negotiate, or how much do I want to put up with, because I don't know when the next deal's coming in and I know I need to pay my rent. But it's like, yeah, I think you said it really well. It's like the more you do it, you know what your standards are, what you deserve.
Right. I mean, we have like a million stories of where we've taken things on and been in really bad conditions, or we've pushed too hard on a brand and they dropped us, and like we didn't get that deal because we thought like, oh, we could negotiate more, and then it doesn't work out. Like I've seen it both ends.
Totally. Yeah. What would you, okay, two more. I know I keep saying a couple more, but you guys are saying such good things. There's this common trope where people talk about artists and creative industries. I hear this as a musician as well, where it's like, it's so tough to make it out there as a creative, as a dancer, actor, musician. What kind of tough is it? Because it's obviously hard. How do you think it's a different type of hard than working at Amazon or BlackRock, for example?
I think the lack of structure compared to like a corporate, corporate ladder. The lack of structure compared to like a corporate ladder can feel like a scary tough, where maybe it's an intimidating tough. Yeah. Whereas if you go into like a more structured world, you have that helping hand that tells you what the next step is and what you need to do to get to that next step. So I feel like what we're doing as artists is tough because it's intimidating and unknown. You really don't know what's at the next corner, what's the next turn, and what you need to do to get to that next level. So I would say it's physically taxing and hard on your body, what we do. And then it's just like a scary, intimidating, just not knowing what's next. But I would say intimidating, yet not enough to scare you away. Like I would tell everybody to still go after it and try. You don't know unless you try. Yeah. So tough because it's so hard on your body and hard on your mind and all of that, but also so much more rewarding. I feel so much more accomplished from what we've done because we put our all into it. Like physically, everything, mentally, I keep saying, but it really was like our whole entire beings went into what we do. And I feel better about that than maybe something else that was a little more structured. Yeah.
What's tough about what we do is that as artists, we're also like creatives. Yes. And with anything creative, there's no right or wrong. And sometimes the easier way to grow is to always be like, yes, right answer, yes, right answer. Yes. But with this, it's no, yes or no. It's just someone's impression of what you've put out. And that's so much of what we do, especially with social media when we're creating something. Like, as we're coming up with choreography on ourselves to then film and produce and post, no one's saying like, yes, you did that technical element correctly. It's just like, to the best of our abilities, I'm kicking my legs and putting these steps together in a way that I think is creative. But from there, it's up to the people who are viewing it to either be like, yes, I like this, or no, but there's no right or wrong. And I think that is also a really hard thing in dance. It's like everyone's impression, and that's the same thing with like growing up in dance competitions. We're going and we're being judged, but unlike any other sport where it's like winner or loser, it's just like rankings maybe at the end of the day, but it's still just down to like the judge's impression of you.
What would be your advice for someone who is in a 9-to-5, is really unhappy, and wants to be a professional dancer in New York City? That's a loaded question.
I know, that is loaded. Okay, well, first of all, I say go for it, because especially in the dance world, I don't want to say it's ever too late, but there's no better time than the present, because you need your physical body, and like do it now. Why wait? It's hard on the body, and you want to get like your youth out of it. Or I don't know if that made sense.
No, it does. It's like, when your body's strong, it's like, what's the delay?
Right.
You're not getting younger.
No, and I choose my words carefully just because I don't want to say like time is ticking, or like there are dancers and Broadway performers who are in their 30s, 40s, even 50s, like and are amazing, but I still feel like do it now. Like you're strong and young, like go for it. Like I just think the corporate world will always be there, and you can always fall back on your degree if you have one or whatever. Like you can go back to it, but this kind of industry is like a kind of just like a go for it, take a risk kind of thing. And if you do take the risk, I would just say, because can be a life that's so unstructured, make a structure, make a schedule, and hold yourself to it. Make goals, manifest whatever you want to do. We truly believe in manifesting, because the things we have done have come from that, and it comes from staying accountable, having goals, and manifesting it, and staying positive even when you face rejection. So it is scary. It's not like every day is like we're booking and killing it and signing everything. It's ebbs and flows, like a lot. And it can be uncertain with being self-employed and working job to job, but it also is the most fulfilling part of it, where I've never had a worry or a regret of working like job to job, because we're doing what we love and we get to do really cool things and meet great people. And I'd rather be doing that than something that doesn't fulfill me and I'm not passionate about. I'd rather be doing this.
So good. I'm going to ask you a similar question, Courtney. If someone's sitting at their desk right now watching this and they're 9-to-5, they're not happy. Hi, sorry, also been there. And they want to quit, what would be the first thing you would tell them to do today or tomorrow?
The first thing I would do is write a list of the things that make you happiest, because for us, and this, I've been a journaler since like day one, and I think it's really cool to go back and look on, and that's where like a lot of our manifesting comes from. But I do remember making lists back in the day when it was like COVID and I didn't know what I was going to do, like what makes me happiest, what gives me structure, what helps me achieve a lot of my goals, or what I think would help me. So I think writing down like what you're interested in, what you love to do, what makes you happiest, and if it's not what you're currently doing and like you're at that desk thinking like I need to get out of here, look at what you could be doing and then start to set a goal for yourself, or start to set a plan on how you could go about achieving it. And I really do think that's how we went about this. There's no set path or game plan for what we did, but we had to figure it out. And I think you don't know until you try. And you can set out like what would make me feel productive at least to get started. And it doesn't mean that the answers will all be there, but at least I'm doing something, and that usually leads you in the right direction. So if it doesn't seem like there's a clear path, at least just start and see where you end up.
I love that. I hope you guys wrote that down. Guys, thank you so much. That was just so informative and inspiring. to people who want to be dancers, who are dancers, and just anyone in general who wants to follow their passion. So thank you.
Thank you.
Where can the people find you? Can you tell us?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok. And on Instagram, we are at Sullivan Twins, and then TikTok, we are at Sullivan Twins 42. And we're on YouTube also. What are we on?
Sullivan Twins.
At the Sullivan Twins. Just find Sullivan Twins. We're on all the things.
Yes, perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
stay tuned for the next episode, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yay!